So in this current market scenario, what are those attractive business opportunities?
See, Avan, I have this simple theory, right? Like, while there is this great impact of global macros, India is like our great mango story. You should know that we are the largest mango growers of the world, or manufacturers or producers of the world. But we only export 1% of the incredible mangoes we produce. You know why? Because the rest we consume ourselves.
Yes.
So India is that story. 60-70% of our produce we consume. So we at times like this can remain very insulated from these global impacts, because we are not dependent so much like other economies on the rest of the globe. So in that way, there is a fair amount of shock absorption that can happen. And if you put that in perspective, then some brilliant businesses are available at some good prices at this point of time,
Do you want to
across
tell
board.
us which sectors are
Across
looking?
board. I mean, see,
Okay.
in such situations, from a portfolio construction perspective, in the near term, it's always wise to have a flight to safety, if I can put it mildly. And then when you have a flight to safety from a near term, one has to always focus on the core pillars of the economy. And when you look at that core pillars of the economy, I'm not a big fan of sectors. I'm a bigger fan of themes.
Yep.
When you look at those themes, then
Which themes?
see, the core of Indian stock market remains banking and financial.
Yeah.
And some brilliant banks are available at some good prices, right? And the prices which you are buying them at 2024, 25, and the prices that are now, you be your own judge, right? But on the financial or the fintech side, there are some incredible businesses growing, and that's somewhere where, from a future perspective, one can have some good positions building. You can build it up over a period of time.
Okay.
We've always been big fans of consumption.
Yes.
And then this story of India moving from per capita 2,500 to 3,500 brings up this incredible change of that space. See, correct me if I'm wrong, in COVID, as individuals, we were the first, it's first time in my life that I could differentiate between what is a need and what is a want. It's first time. Otherwise, it was always a blur. We would confuse wants to be needs, right? That's where we could now start differentiating between what we call consumer staples, which are more towards the need, and consumer discretionary, which are more towards the want. As per capita grows, and when people start earning money, they tend to fulfill their fantasies more than often. So the story that will build in the next 5-10 years could be more on that space. So the consumption space stands re-rated as we speak, and will continue to re-rate. My personal favorite always remains healthcare. Always.
And energy transition.
Yeah, I
you've
was
been
coming to
talking-
that.
Yeah.
So this
sorry.
is the near term, right?
Okay.
But at the same time, you cannot keep your eye off the future. And when you look at the future, this whole space of innovation and energy is what will unfold.
Okay.
I would add defense to that, because post this whole thing, defense becomes a core of all nations. At a global level, 18 years ago, we had called out consumption as a structural theme. In the last 3-4 years, post this change of US, we've called out defense as a global theme. So if I were to peek into the future a bit, I would definitely start building positions on innovation, energy, defense, manufacturing. India has to build a manufacturing hub. So this is where it looks. So when you look at this entire space, it's not very difficult to build a 60-70 company portfolio.
Yeah, absolutely. You've given us a plethora of sectors, and then you said innovation, so I can't help but touch upon AI. And globally, we've seen a lot of capital flow to the AI dominated sectors, and India has been left out of that story. It's been to Korea, it's been to the US, of course, majority. Will India catch up?
Yeah, it's a tough call now. We are already way behind. The world has called it out, whether we accept it or not, that we don't belong is a reality. And that's a rude shock to a country which had called out tech much before the world had done. So from being tech leaders, almost tech leaders, to trailing the AI business is something which none of us ever thought would happen. But that's the reality. If there was any iota of it, money would have come to India, right? But I don't really rule ourselves out from that frame. I feel we'll be brilliant enablers of that space because we do have the backend, and these adaptation of some of, I don't think all will, but some of them who will adapt quickly because the talent is there. It's just a change of skill. If that happens, some of our companies can do well. But yes, we've missed out on the broad AI structuring part or innovation part. But we will play a very good backend to or enable AI is where I come from. But I have a firm belief that a lot of businesses which are more in the private equity space can surprise us in the next 5-7 years in this space in India.
Okay, that's interesting. So we will adapt. It's a matter of time, but as of now, we're nowhere close to the tech leaders. In
Yeah,
the
but
world. Yeah.
I also I'm speaking a little ahead of myself.
No, but tell me, we were just chatting off camera about this course that you did in Stanford, and you were talking about how you learnt about AI. What was that like? What were your observations? What were the conversations like? Where?
No, I was just speaking about the whole environment. There was no professor who was not involved in an AI startup
Really?
who came and taught to us. There was no professor. There was nobody in that campus who was not anyway not attached to any AI innovation that was happening. To see that ecosystem was mind-blowing actually.
Yeah.
And then we realized that the gap between tech and AI is serious. And I don't see that ecosystem in India. So it was not sad actually, but to say that so much is happening elsewhere was a fascination to even be part of.
Investment in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.